Breaking just moments ago, new data showing January was the worst month for job cuts since the 2009 Great Recession. CNN senior reporter Matt Egan is joining me now. What else is this report telling you?
Yeah, Sarah, look, this is a bad way to start 2026, right? Layoffs way up, hiring way down. So Challenger Gray and Christmas reports that during the month of January, U.S.-based employers announced just over 108,000 layoffs. Now, that is roughly double January of 2025 and roughly triple the end of last year. In fact, Sarah, as you mentioned, this is the highest since January 2009 during the Great Financial Crisis.
1.2 million Americans got laid off in 2025, and that same year, corporate profits hit the highest level ever recorded in history. Companies made more money than ever before while cutting more workers than any year since the pandemic. And here's what should make you angry. The government told you the job market was fine the entire time. They were wrong by almost 1 million jobs. What I'm about to show you is how the official numbers lied, who's actually benefiting from this chaos, and why the next 3 years could determine whether you have a career or you're competing with software for whatever's left. The Bureau of Labor Statistics spent all of 2025 saying the economy was adding jobs, steady growth, nothing to worry about. Then February 2026 came, and they quietly released a revision that changed everything. The real number of jobs created in 2025 was 181,000 for the entire year, not per month, 12 months combined. They originally estimated 50,000 jobs per month, but the actual number was closer to 15,000. They missed by more than 2/3, and nobody in mainstream media made this front-page news. The revision revealed that 862,000 jobs they counted simply never existed, phantom jobs that showed up in headlines, influenced Federal Reserve decisions, and shaped how millions of Americans planned their futures. They were never real. Even Jerome Powell admitted in December 2025 that the real monthly figure was probably negative, meaning jobs were being destroyed, not created. Laura Ulrich at Indeed called 2025 an exceptionally weak year by almost any standard. The 2024 economy added 1.46 million jobs. The 2025 economy added 181,000. That makes 2025 the worst year for job creation since 2003, outside of actual recessions. So, while you were being told everything was fine, the job market was quietly collapsing underneath everyone's feet. Now, let's talk about what was actually happening while those fake numbers circulated. Challenger, Gray, and Christmas tracks every corporate layoff announcement in America, and their 2025 report reads like a horror story. Employers announced 1,206,374 job cuts, 58% higher than 2024, and the worst year since pandemic. Era 2020. October 2025 was brutal with 153,074 layoffs in a single month, the worst October since 2003. Then January 2026 brought 108,435 more cuts, the worst January since the Great Recession, up 118% from the year before. But here's the number that tells the real story. Companies announced plans to hire just 5,306 people that month, the lowest January figure since tracking began in 2009. Andy Challenger, the firm's chief revenue officer, said most of these cuts were planned at the end of 2025, signaling employers aren't optimistic about what's coming. Government absorbed the worst damage with over 308,000 positions eliminated, a 703% increase from 2024. Tech announced more than 153,000 cuts, but the bleeding spread into retail, telecommunications, manufacturing, and professional services. And this is where it gets infuriating. While workers got slaughtered, Wall Street threw a party. The S&P 500 returned roughly 18% in 2025, hitting all-time record highs and breaking above 6,900 for the first time ever. Corporate earnings grew around 13%, crushing the 8% analysts expected. Net profit margins reached 13.2% in the fourth quarter, the highest number ever recorded in history. So, let me make sure you understand what happened here. Companies fired over 1 million workers, reported the highest profits in history, and their stock prices went up because they fired those workers. That's not an accident. That's a system working exactly as designed. Wall Street rewards efficiency. When a company announces layoffs tied to restructuring or automation, investors see lower costs and higher margins, so they buy the stock and push prices up. The layoffs aren't a problem to be solved. They're a feature to be celebrated. Economists call this a jobless boom, where stock prices and profits surge while employment stagnates or declines. Job openings dropped to 6.5 million in December 2025, the lowest since September 2020, while the Dow crossed 50,000 for the first time in early 2026. The gap between Main Street and Wall Street has never been wider. Now, let's talk about the thing everyone's worried about. Challenger's data shows AI was cited as the reason for 54,836 layoffs in 2025. Since tracking began in 2023, over 71,000 job losses have been blamed on the technology. That's about 3% of all announced layoffs, which sounds small until you see who's doing the cutting. Amazon eliminated 14,000 corporate jobs, and CEO Andy Jassy said directly that AI means fewer people would be needed. Microsoft cut approximately 15,000 positions. Salesforce let more than 4,000 workers go after CEO. Mark Benioff announced, AI now handles between 30 and 50% of company workload. What changed in 2025 is that executives stopped hiding it. For years, corporate leaders avoided publicly linking layoffs to automation. That's over now. AI efficiency became acceptable justification. The World Economic Forum surveyed over 1,000 companies and projects, 92 million jobs displaced by AI and automation by 2030. McKinsey estimates generative AI could automate up to 30% of hours worked in America by then. But here's what most people miss. That same report projects 170 million new jobs created by 2030, a net gain of 78 million globally. The problem isn't jobs disappearing forever. The problem is the transition, because new roles require skills most workers don't have yet. If you're trying to start a career right now, this is going to sting. Entry-level job postings dropped 15% year over year. Big tech slashed new graduate hiring by 25% in 2024 compared to 2023. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei predicted AI could eliminate half of all entry-level white-collar jobs within 5 years, and his logic tracks because entry-level work involves routine tasks, exactly what AI handles best. The traditional career ladder is collapsing. Shrink entry-level hiring and you choke off the entire pipeline for years to come. Financial pressure makes everything worse. Average federal student debt sits at $39,547, and total U.S. student debt exceeds $1.78 trillion across 42.7 million borrowers. According to the National Association of Home Builders, 75% of U.S. households cannot afford a median-priced new home. For those earning $75,000, only 21% of listings are within reach, down from 49% in 2019. Fewer jobs, crushing debt, unaffordable housing. That's the reality facing anyone trying to build a life right now. So what do you do if you're caught in this? The fastest growing jobs cluster in technology, healthcare, and green energy, with healthcare alone projected to add 5.5 million positions through 2030. The fastest declining roles involve routine tasks like cashiers, administrative assistants, and data entry clerks. Adaptation works. Workers earning certifications in cloud computing, data analytics, or cybersecurity see measurable improvement in job prospects, and 73% of employers have adopted skills-based hiring, up from 56% in 2022. Not everyone needs tech jobs either. 40% of young graduates in 2025 chose skilled trades like plumbing, construction, and electrical work, fields that completely resist automation. Construction companies report 94% difficulty finding workers, meaning demand massively outstrips supply. The labor market entering 2026 sits in what economists call low hire, low fire. Companies aren't expanding. Mass layoffs beyond what's happened haven't fully materialized. Unemployment holds at 4.3% while job openings keep falling. What 2025 proved is that the economy can grow, stocks can hit records, and workers can still struggle, all at the exact same time. Corporate profits have completely detached from employment. The people paying attention and taking action now will be in a very different position than those assuming this sorts itself out. It won't sort itself out. If you want to see which industries get hit next and which skills are actually worth investing in, subscribe, because that's exactly what we're covering next.